I've had I've had 3 procedures this year in public hospitals. I've had been in for a hernia operation and 2 cataract operations, and I have seen firsthand the stupidity of our medical system. And what I mean by that is the stupidity that relates to COVID-19 and the vaccines. Every single time that I went to hospital, I was asked if I was up to date on my vaccinations, on my boosters for COVID-19. Every single time. And every single time I've had to disappoint them and tell them that it wasn't happening, that it wasn't going to happen, that I am immunocompromised, and I still haven't had COVID-19 one single time. It's the only time in history that we have put ourselves in a position where we have believed everything we are told, even though it's going against what we know to be true. The only time in history, at least since the invention of the vaccine, that a vaccine has been made, it has been distributed for a certain disease, for a certain illness that's going around, and even though you are forced, which we were, no matter what they tell us, we were forced to take the vaccine in many instances. Even though you are forced to take the vaccine, they then proceed to tell you that you're not fully protected and you should stay away from people who have been unvaccinated, who are unvaccinated, people who haven't received the vaccine. Common sense has always said, science has always said that you take a vaccine in order to protect yourself from something that is going around or from something that's lurking in the soil. Tetanus, for example. If you receive a tetanus vaccine, the science says, it's been proven that you do not get tetanus. And if you do contract tetanus, you will not have the severe effects that the disease causes in a person that's not vaccinated, that has no antibodies to the tetanus virus. You could take a smallpox vaccine and walk into a hospital full of smallpox patients and you knew that you were protected. But all of a sudden, we have COVID-19, and those who have taken the vaccine need to stay away from the unvaccinated, and those who are unvaccinated are a threat to the rest of the community. And even though you've received your vaccine and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boosters, 7 boosters in some cases, you're still not fully protected. And you must criminalize those individuals who didn't get the vaccine. What a load of bollocks. What a load of bullshit. And most people out there swallowed it. They took it hook, line and sinker. Our health professionals, for God's sake. You know, you'd go into a specialist's office and they'd want to see your vaccination certificate. If they didn't see your vaccination certificate, they're throwing masks on their faces, they're rolling their eyes, or they're throwing you out the door, telling you that they can't see you because your vaccine status is invalid. You haven't been vaccinated. Many people were forced to go ahead and take these vaccines because they needed to see their healthcare professionals. I don't know why the fuck we needed to see these healthcare professionals, because if they haven't got the common sense to know that once you're vaccinated against a virus, you are no longer in danger of contracting that virus. You are no longer in danger of getting that illness. You now have antibodies which protect you from getting that virus. And If I'm unvaccinated and I want to go and see the doctor, who apparently has been vaccinated, apparently, why is the doctor afraid if he's protected? If he's got so much faith in his vaccines that he's pushing on his patients, why is he so afraid? If he knows his science, if he knows his profession, why is he so afraid of the virus? Because none of them did their due diligence. None of them actually read anything on the literature that was put out with the COVID shots. None of them did any research. All they did is take directives from the government. They feared for their licenses because of the threats coming from the government and the health officials. Many of them were threatened with losing their license if they saw people who hadn't been vaccinated, or if they spoke out against the vaccine in any way. Now, as far as I'm concerned, all that's done, it's, at least with me, it's made me lose all faith in the medical system. I question whether my doctor knows his shit every time I go in to see them. And I take everything they say with a pinch of salt. Because if they are not wise enough to understand that if you receive a vaccine that is supposed to protect you from a certain illness, then you should be protected. And you shouldn't fear those who didn't receive the vaccine. You can walk into an area infested with mosquitoes that carry malaria. If you had your malaria vaccine, you shouldn't be afraid. You can be bitten by a rabid dog. If you've had your rabies shots, there's no way you're going to contract rabies. But for the first time in history, for the first time in our history, since the advent of the vaccines, we are told that even though you're vaccinated, you should stay away, isolate from people who haven't received the vaccine. And then the same person expects you to put your doctor, expects you to put your life, your trust in their hands and know that they're doing what's best for you. And the biggest joke of all is the fact that even though there's been so much evidence pointing towards the fact that vaccines have caused severe side effects, really severe side effects, and many, many millions of deaths, and the fact that they are causing turbo cancers, and these individuals are still pushing the damn things every time you walk into their office, shows that they have no idea of what they're doing. Probably got their medical degree and medical license on the back of a cornflakes packet. Because they sure as hell didn't do it at a university. Or maybe the university was the Kellogg's University. There's not going to be a lot of people the next time around that are going to buy this bullshit. Oh, there will be a few. There will be a large number of people who are going to buy into the bullshit because there's a lot of brain dead people out there that believe everything they're told. If they're told that if you stick your head in a bucket of shit, it'll protect you from the smell in the other room, they'll stick their head in a bucket of shit, so they don't have to smell the rotting tomato in the other room. I'd rather smell the rotting tomato than stick my head in a bucket of shit. So we've lost the plot. We've lost the ability to think for ourselves. And we have placed too much trust in these people that we call health professionals, these people that we charge with looking after our health. And at the end of the day, The only one that's in charge of looking after your health is you, me, each one of us. Doing all the wrong things, taking our life to the edge, sliding down a razor blade, sliding down a knife edge, taking chances, unnecessary ones, every single day of our lives, where our health is concerned, is not going to fare very well in the future. We're young. We don't care about what we do. We drink, we drink alcohol by the, case. We eat shit food, and we get into a habit. We get older and we keep doing the same thing. Oh, it's work. I haven't been able to look after myself because of this, and I haven't been able to look after myself because of that. And we slowly degrade our bodies. We slowly ruin our health. And then we go to these idiots. They call themselves doctors, health professionals, specialists, and we expect them to put us right. Most of them aren't interested in doing that. All they've learnt in medical school, all they have learnt is to treat you with chemicals, to treat the symptoms of what is bothering you. But there's no healing involved. You will go to a doctor suffering with cancer, and you will say to that doctor, I've done it. I've asked the doctor when my wife was going through treatments, what should she and shouldn't she eat? She can eat whatever she likes. You walk into a chemotherapy ward and there's a little room on the side there which has got little sandwiches and things you can eat if you get hungry, if you get peckish while you're having your treatment. It's mainly for the patients. In fact, it is for the patients. And you open the door to this fridge and there's flavoured milks full of sugar. There's biscuits next to the coffee full of sugar. There's white bread, full of sugar and starches. There's processed meats in the sandwiches. That's another no-no. Everything that is against, everything that feeds the cancer is in that fridge. And when you ask for a dietitian and you ask to speak to one, we got one. My question was, is there anything that she should avoid? Oh no, she can eat whatever she likes. Because their aim is to keep body weight on you. And what's the quickest way to add weight to your body? Sugar. It adds fat. It adds fat. It adds fat to your body so it doesn't make you look as sick. You don't look as sick as you feel. And it doesn't make them look as bad for the treatments they're giving you. Your health professionals are not keeping your best interests at heart. They're not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. Their allegiance is to governments and big pharmaceutical companies. That's where their bread and butter comes from. So if you think that they are looking out for you, if you think that they have your best interests at heart, if you think they have an investment in your health, then you're mistaken. Every time I go to the doctor, I go regretfully. I try to avoid it as much as I can. Going to see my specialists is a chore for me. Because I fear that every time I walk in there, I'm going to get the same question. You know what that is. Have you had your COVID shots? Are you up to date with your COVID shots? No, I'm fucking not. I'm not. My mother-in-law wanted to go with my wife to New Zealand on a little holiday. And she went to her doctor. And she had had, I think, the 2 initial vaccines and 2 booster shots. And she'd stopped after that. She went to the doctor and she said, I would like a letter of all the medications that I'm taking to take with me on the ship. I need a letter stating what medications I'm on for customs purposes. His answer to her was, I will not be giving you any letter unless you receive a booster shot. What, are these people not listening to what's happening out there? Are these people not listening to the side effects that these vaccines have? Are these people not listening to the amount of people that have died as a result of taking these vaccines and their adverse reactions to the vaccines? Have they not been reading the literature on the huge increase in cancers, even amongst younger people? They're not interested. Every vaccine they give you is a paycheck. That's why they're pushing them. They're not interested in your health. They're interested in money. They're interested in what they can get out of you financially. And when you die, they move on to the next patient. They're like drug dealers on the street. They will keep pushing their poisons on people. Those people will die, but they've always got new clients on the go because they're constantly pushing their drugs on other people. And that's what these doctors do. They're constantly pushing drugs on you. They'll give you this drug to treat a certain ailment. This drug has side effects. We will treat these side effects with another drug. Now you have 2 drugs, 2 lots of side effects. We will take another drug to treat those. Before you know it, you're on 10 different drugs. You got a blister pack. And you're walking around in a fucking daze. You have all these issues. You don't know what's causing them. Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Look at what you're taking. Take an active interest in your health and read about what they're putting you on. Research the drugs and their side effects. And you'll find out that everything you're feeling is related to that medication, or that medication, or that medication. We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot. We no longer have a brain to think for ourselves. We need to take an active interest in what's going on in the world around us. Because until we do, things is going to keep getting worse. Day by day, they're going to keep getting worse. And it will get to the point where eventually there will be no turning anything around. It'll be all downhill from that point on. Now's the time to act. Now's the time to start questioning. Now is the time to start asking for accountability. Thanks for watching.